not making the same amount of money every day when you're working for yourself, now you can expect that to happen. This is one of the things that you most definitely going to have to get over. But I can tell you one thing for sure, it beats the hell out of working a 9 to 5. Yes, it does. So hang on with me now, because you know it's story time. I got something to tell you, all right? So my prime example is today and what happened to me. So I had 3 appointments today, right? 3 of them. My first one starts at 10 because, you know, I already told you, if you subscribe to my channel, you know I don't set appointments before 10 o'clock unless you woo me into setting you one up early based off of something that you got going on, and I feel a little sorry for you. But other than that, my appointment started at 10 o'clock. My last one was going to be at 12:45. I knew that the 12:45 appointment was not far from my house, so I knew that if I make haste when I get there, when I leave, and by the time I head home, I knew for a fact I would be here by 1:30. Okay, from 10 o'clock to 1:30, I'm back in the house. Okay, I get to the first appointment. It was a $105 appointment. I had already estimated based off of what I seen on Google. I was like, okay, we're looking at about 45 minutes, maybe an hour at most. You know what? It doesn't matter. Let's go get this $105. But when I pulled up to the location, I realized immediately by looking at it from across the street, girl, this is a 30-minute shot in and out. Girl, you're going to be done with this so fast. Let's just get this party popping. So I get out the car and I decide I'm going to trot across the street, right? So I'm just, I'm on my way across the street over to the location. I get there, and when I first hit the stoop, I get up there, ring the bell. Bing! No response. Ring the bell again, eventually. Bing! No response. So I said, you know what? Let me call the phone number on the file. So I pull the file out, call the number. No one answers the phone. It rings and rings and rings until it gets to a point where it tells me, the person I'm trying to reach is not available and the mailbox is full. Okay. If I was the same person I used to be back in the day before I started making sure that I practice gratefulness and just be grateful for everything that I have, no matter how it's thrown at me, if I was still that person from back then, you better believe I'd have been extremely upset. But there was no reason to get upset. Why? Because I was gonna stand there and give it a minute. I'm gonna give him 20 minutes because I try to give him at least a little time in between each appointment. So I'm gonna give him 20 minutes. And I'm gonna make sure that he most definitely is not coming. In the meantime, I'm gonna take the pictures of what I need to take pictures of, which is the address in the front to verify I was there. I'm not doing anything else. And I waited. He didn't respond. I rung the doorbell again and nobody comes. So you know what? Right off the bat, I already counted my money, right? I'm already looking at it, and I had down already on my sheet. Well, today, it's not the best of day, but I would at least make $300 today. Who's complaining about $300? All right. But when he didn't answer the door, that immediately knocked me down $105. So, should I be upset about it? Of course not. And do you want me to tell you why I'm not upset about it? Because if I was at a 9 to 5, I'm not going to make $300 in a day. I know for a fact when I was pulling a 9 to 5, I was not making $300 in a day. Unless I was into some serious overtime, time and a half. Y'all know how we get down when we trying to make that extra money on these jobs. So, of course, I didn't let it get me down. Got in the car. I said, okay, so you going to call when these people be trying to cancel your stuff. Now, you going to go to call them, but you going to have to call somebody else because you know what? I just don't have time for someone who don't have a courteous bone in their body. If you had something that came up, you should have called or said something. If you just decided that you were not going to just come to your appointment, period, I'm just not in the mood. Well, you know what? That's just downright rude. So, anyway, I went on ahead, left that space. I knew I had plenty of time in between because of course, I didn't do the appointment. So it was in between my house and the next place. So I rolled to the house real quick, made sure I put in the computer and let them know, hey, I cannot do this inspection because the person did not show. Gave them all the little details, bloom, 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 closed it out, called it a day, got back in the car, went to the next one. Long story short, and getting to what my point is, I still had one for $110 and I had one for $85. And at the end of the day, I was still back at the house, inside the house, with my shoes pulled off at the door at 1:30. So you can't beat that. But instead of me pulling 300, I pulled 195. Still, to most, that would be a good day. To me, that's on the low. Most of the time, a low week for me, we're looking at anywhere from $650, $700 in the week. That's a pretty low week for me. But when I think about it, working a 9 to 5 and having to be gone all day, up early in the morning, before the traffic even starts, trying to get ahead of the traffic so that I'm not stuck in the traffic in order to get to work. And I do the same thing in the evening, which I don't have as much luck with because I'm still going to ride the traffic because I have to pass downtown to get home. When I think about all of those things, when I think about what God has brought me from, I had to take a moment. There is nothing better than calling your own shots. And it doesn't matter whether you're going through or whether you're going up. It doesn't matter. In case that went over some of y'all's head, if you're going through a storm while you're dealing with your own thing, or whether you're coming up and the lights are shining bright on your head and you can't see where you're going to need sunglasses. It doesn't even matter which one it is. At the end of the day, there's nothing better than hustling and trying to push it and make things happen for yourself. 9 to 5 would not have given me what I got today in a 3-hour period. Come on now. Because it may sound to some of you, especially you big ballers, as though I'm not making that much. That's okay. I understand that. Because at the same time, I already told you, life is not going to be the same every single day. There are some weeks that I'd be rolling, and then there are some weeks that be a little mediocre. And then there are some weeks, so like I just told you, with the 650, 700 at the end of the week, and I can't complain because I know if I work the 9 to 5, come on now. So if you know that you're willing to step out on it and at least take a chance to do something good for yourself, and I say good because there's nothing better than being able to tell yourself when you're going to get up. Tell yourself when you're going to move. Motivate yourself. You shouldn't have someone at a job motivate you to make a move, okay? And they motivate you in some of the rudest and crudest and disrespectful ways. I know a lot of it is all about the actual job itself, but let me tell you something. You have a certain time to be at work. Some of them give you grace periods. You have a certain time that you can be there. You have a certain amount of time after that time to get there before they deem you as being late. And then you have some that give you PTO. They have some that give you extra vacation. You have some that starts your vacation every quarter. You don't even have to wait a year. You can start taking vacation time in 3 months, in 6 months. You got all these little perks to some of these jobs. And of course I know because I wouldn't work one unless they had those types of perks in the first place. I be making sure they tell me during the interview what everything I have coming to expect. And they need to know, don't be worried about whether that's all you want to talk about is the money. Yes, because nobody's working here for free. Let's just be real. But at the same time, like I said, there's nothing better than trying to do something for yourself. Have I had a really low week? Of course I have. I've had a low week where we had a regional person that changed out and he didn't know, you know what, I'm not going to say that. Lord forgive me because I don't know what I'm talking about. But I do know for a fact that immediately after we changed, work pretty much ceased. And I didn't know what was happening. Now, how I go from living in a city, the largest city in the nation, to having no work at all. And that wasn't even it at all. But anyway, that was a bum week. But at the same time, did it slow down my grind? Of course it didn't. You want to know why? Because I love working for myself. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? It doesn't matter what I decide to do. If I want a DoorDash, I'll DoorDash. If I want a Postmate, I'll Postmate. If I want an Instacart, I'll Instacart. If I want to do apps, I'll do all of those apps, okay? Whatever I need to do to get myself situated and anything else that may be coming up in the works later on, you better believe when I decide I want to make a move on something new, I'm going to make a move on it. It comes a time in your life when you have to just say, enough is enough. Y'all know what to do. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. I'll be bringing you something back later. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.